Hey everybody, this is Jonathan Rogers, and I'm going to be walking you through the appFiles system, which is basically what the office uses to keep a digital copy of all of your contracts and all of the documents that belong in your contracts. So one quick note on the appFiles system, Safari and Chrome are not compatible. Chrome is not going to be compatible either on a PC or on a Mac, but Safari, unless you're using a desktop version or a laptop like a MacBook Air, Safari will not work on either an iPhone or an iPad. If you'd like to use your iPad for everything, which I do as well, you can download the browser off of the App Store, the Puffin browser, and that will give you full access to the platform. So we're going to start off very simple. Go ahead and open whichever compatible browser you'd like to use. In this case, I am using an Apple desktop, so I'm going to use Safari. Top right, appFiles login, that blue link up there, go ahead and click it. You're going to enter your email address in the email address line, and then tab down to password, and you should have received a temporary password from someone at the office to get you logged in until we can change it. So go ahead and click the box next to it to keep you logged in and select the login link. So that's basically it. That's how you log into appFiles, and you are good to get started. Okay, so that was simple enough, and now we're going to move on to adjusting your personal settings. We're going to go in and change your picture, change your password, and a few other things too. So the first thing you're going to do is obviously go back and log in, and we're going to scroll all the way over to the left to your My Photo. So your stock photo that's going to be in there, you'll see is just a generic outline of a silhouette of just a person. And what we'll do is just go ahead and enter a headshot. So mine is saved to the desktop. So go ahead and select desktop, pick whichever picture it is that you want to use as your photo, select it, and then click the Start Upload link. And once you see that the photo has changed in the top left there, and then in your current photo to the left of that, then you know that your photo has changed. After that, we're going to go down to Settings, which is directly below the photo. And your display name is the first thing that comes up. You want to obviously keep that the same so that everybody that's looking at the files can recognize you and know who it is that's making changes. Your email address, if you look at that, is sitting right up above the Update Primary Email address. It should be your current username and your current email address that you're using to log in. You want to keep that obviously the same. And if you look down below, the blue circle that says look like it comes from your email address, that basically ensures that whenever you're sending an email from appFiles, that it looks like it's coming from, in this case, Jonathan Rogers at remax.net versus coming from an appFiles server. So you shouldn't have to update that, but if you ever do, that's where you do it. Now you're going to go down to change your password, type in your current password, your temporary, and then type in your new password, and then retype the new password, and obviously select Update Password. I didn't do anything, so nothing's going to happen there. Want to go ahead and close that out and just log back in here one more time so I can show you, where we go to. So log in, keep me logged in, select, and then go back to the top left and back to your Settings tab. And we're going to go to the email footer. So if you want to change the signature line on your email, there is a blue link up at the top middle, and you, depending on what kind of email service you have, you may have to copy and paste that into a new email. But what you're going to do is paste that in the to line, leave the subject blank, and leave the body of the email blank as well. And what that's going to do is, if you don't have an email footer set up or an email signature set up already, once you send that, it's going to, in this case, it would change my footer or my signature to Jonathan Rogers, and then under that it would say joro321 at icloud.com. So basically, you're just going to send an email to that blue website or email address that you see in the top middle, either by cutting and pasting it or by selecting it, just clicking on it. And again, leave your subject line blank, leave the body of the email blank. You don't have to type in there that, hey, can you guys change this to a to my new signature line. So if I'd gone up there and selected send, it would have just assigned me a new footer. Alright, so now that we've figured out how to log in and we've updated the personal information within your appFile account, we're going to go and actually create an app file. So the first thing we'll do is go back to appFiles login and then go down below the photo that you've recently uploaded and click create new app file. At this point, you'll see kind of like a manila folder in the background, and you're going to set up your file name, your file type, and then kind of a description of what it is. So normally in your file name location, you're going to put in the address. I did not have an address for this, so I just used a generic name. But normally if we were just using the address, it would obviously be 678 Lonesome Valley Road. Your file type is pretty simple: buyer, seller, landlord, or tenant. We're just going to go with the seller for this one. Then the agent's name, blatantly obvious, you're going to go ahead and type your name in here if you are the agent on it, and then select the proposed closing date if you have it. So you go ahead and put the closing date, and then the customer name or client name. And then if you have an MLS number, we'll go ahead and enter it there as well. If you have notes that you want to just go ahead and put in there for your records, go ahead and enter those in the notes section. Go ahead and click next, and then you're going to come up to this screen here that's going to have your file name top and center, usually, like I said, your address, and on the right are going to be all the people that have access to the file, which is going to be Kim, Melinda, Heidi, Gary Rogers, and then yourself. And over to the left are basically all the agents. If you want to give them access, you can. On the bottom right, go ahead and click Create App File, and then that's going to bring you up to this screen here. So what you're looking at is basically the outline of the entire file. That is pretty much your main area for all the stuff you want to do. So your app file overview, your activity log, file info, and if you want to add tasks, you can add those in there as well. If you put in any photos, they're going to come up in that little picture icon, and then on the left, you're going to be using this a lot. Add a form, upload files, upload photos, scan a document, create a task, link an app file, add a web link, or create a signature verification report. So whenever you're uploading stuff, that's where it's going to go. Now, you'll notice that all of the information that you entered when you created the app file is going to be right there in the middle. So your agent name, your closing date, customer, MLS number, and then who it was created by directly below that. Also, too, all of the folks that have access to your file that you selected and the ones that are put there by default are going to show up there under File Access. And then over to the right, we'll get into this a little bit deeper later. Create a document pack, merge forms, compose an email, print file info, copy the app file, change file mailbox, and then lastly delete app file, which you're not going to be doing.